Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Selena. Um, I'm a mama. I am a registered nurse, newly engaged. I'm an NP student. So yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot going on here. So, but luckily I'm here to take you guys along with me as I go through everyday life. So this video is gonna become is about me becoming a teenage mom and how I'm navigating life with my teenage daughter now. So if you're interested, please like, comment, subscribe, share the page with someone who may be interested. So I'm kind of like looking off to the side a little bit because I want to make sure like I hit on certain things, and I don't want to ramble on too long with you guys, but you know, that's why I'm looking to the side. Okay, so a little background history. So I graduated high school in June of 2006. I graduated high school June of 2006, and I got with my daughter's father in June of 2006. So honestly speaking, like I didn't think it would be too much of anything, honestly, because I was supposed to be going away to college. I was supposed to be going to Morgan State. So, long story short, I ended up not going to Morgan State, and I had to sign up for classes here at LaGuardia Community College. Now, so at this time, it was so late on in the game because you know you're supposed to apply to college and stuff earlier on. So it was so late in the game that they were only offering like remedial classes at that time, and I'm just like, I'm not interested. Like I'm not going to be taking classes that are similar to classes that I already took in high school because it's a different ball game. Now you're paying to go to school. Like, I'm not doing that. So the next option would be to wait until January to enroll in classes in the spring courses. So now I'm 17 years old. I have all this free time, right? So I had my job at McDonald's in Green Acres Mall, and then like I had a seasonal job because let's fast forward a little bit to like end of September, early October. I got a seasonal job at Best Buy at Green Acres Mall. So I have these two jobs and I'm just like chilling. I'm just like living my life. I'm 17 years old, carefree, got two jobs. I got a little bit of something, a little bit of money, not a whole lot, just a, a little bit, and like really couldn't tell me nothing. So and now I got this boy that I'm dealing with. So for sure couldn't tell me nothing. So okay. So we're together like every day when I'm not working and stuff like that. We're together, we're hanging out, we're chilling, whatever. So I think I knew that I should probably get on birth control, but I didn't. So I didn't, I don't know why in my warped mind, I thought that I wouldn't get pregnant. I don't know why I thought that. Like now, I'm like, looking back, I'm like, what the hell was you thinking? So anyway, I did get pregnant in like October, early October of 2006. Um, I knew I was pregnant, but I like wouldn't take a test because I'm like, if I take a test, that's gonna make it real. So, but I kind of knew it was whatever. I was pregnant. So finally, I wait a couple of weeks and then I take a test. Boom, of course it's pregnant. But I knew that because I was already like feeling all the symptoms. I was sleeping a lot. I just wasn't myself. So I go to my daughter's father and I'm like, I'm pregnant. And he's like, okay, you're pregnant. Like, we're going to have a baby. And I'm like, yeah, we're going to have a baby. I never I never thought like getting an abortion never crossed my mind, but I wasn't sure that I was ready for it. 17 years old, like what am I really doing with a baby? Like what the fuck am I doing with a baby? I'm a baby myself. Like what am I really doing with a baby? But whatever. In my mind, I figured if he wants it, then I want it. Like I don't know, like I don't know, like thinking back, like my thoughts were so freaking crazy and like how I processed things was so damn crazy, but I could only say that I was young and I thought I had it figured out and I was trying to live my life, I guess. I don't know. So the plan was for me to stay at my aunt's house for as long as I could, hide it for as long as I could, and then I would work my two jobs, he would work his job, and we would save the money, and then we would get an apartment. Well, I couldn't hide it for that long because I think my aunt had an idea, but she didn't say anything to me about it. She was just like watching and waiting for me to say something to her about it. So a few weeks passed and I just couldn't hide it anymore. I was just like terribly sick and I just couldn't. Like, I'm not a good liar. Like, I hate to lie because I'm just I can't. So I finally just went to her and I'm like, Auntie, I'm pregnant. And she's like, well, pregnant? Like, what you gonna do, girl? And I'm like, I'm gonna have my baby. I already knew what her response would be. And, she responded how I thought she would respond. She said, well, you want to be grown, you want to have a kid, you and your daughter's father's gonna have to figure it out. So we did that. A couple of weeks later, I left from her house, and I started living with my daughter's father and his mother and sister in the Bronx. It was a bad situation to begin with. It was a bad situation because it's four people living in a studio apartment. And it just wasn't good. It wasn't a good situation. I was pregnant, sick, tired. Now I'm living in the Bronx. I'm like, who the hell is traveling from the Bronx where they lived in the Wakefield section of the Bronx. So if you're from New York, the Wakefield section of the Bronx is like the top of the Bronx. Who the hell was traveling from the Bronx all the way to Green Acres Mall to work? It just wasn't happening. Whatever. So I'm sick, I'm pregnant, I'm in the house, and he's still running the streets. I mean, in typical boy fashion, he's 18 years old. I'm not even mad about that. It just is what it is. We were young, we thought we knew everything, clearly didn't know shit, and this is where we were. So, okay, let's fast forward a little bit. I just knew it wasn't gonna work because it was too many good females coming to me talking about how they sleeping with him, they dealing with him, blah blah blah. So I knew it wasn't gonna work, but I kind of just try to stay in it because I wanted to give my daughter that fair chance of being with her mom and dad. But it just didn't end up that way. It just didn't work out. So I finally decided to leave him. And then I left him and I came back to Queens. Now, I couldn't go back to my aunt's house because I was like, I'm not grown, but I'm a young adult with a young baby. I'm not going to go to my aunt's house. So I went into a shelter in Queens. I stayed there for about 5 months, and then I was able to get out and go into an apartment. So now this is my very first apartment. My very first apartment was in Southside, Jamaica, Queens. So this is my apartment by myself with me and my daughter, whatever. It was nice to have a place of my own, but it was also still very much a struggle. A struggle in the sense of I was trying to go to school, I was working part-time, and I had my daughter. But it began to become a struggle when I didn't have anyone to pick up my daughter from school. So I didn't have anyone to pick up my daughter from school. And then now I look at it and I'm like, damn, we pay $800 a month for my son to go to daycare, and it's nothing. That comes easy to us. And I'm like, I couldn't even pay $15 for Kira to go to school. That's to let you know how bad it was, how bad I was really doing. $15 a week, which is like $60 a month, and I couldn't pay it. That's a problem. But it just was, it was what it was. I didn't have anyone to pick her up and couldn't pay the daycare fee. Was always behind in my rent because while I was on public assistance, once you have a job, they cut down the amount of assistance they give you. So it's like you working, you're not even making that much for real, and they still cutting your benefits. Whatever. It was what it was. So that was the problem. I remember there being times where like I had to decide like, am I gonna feed this little girl and buy her snacks for daycare and buy the things that she needs, or am I gonna eat? A real mom is always gonna choose to put those kids first. Like it just is what it is. Like, and that's why I'm so thankful with how my life has turned out because it, you guys don't even know the half. I've been through some shit. This is just me scratching the surface. I'm not even like going in depth for real with where I was at in life. But whatever. Having to make those kind of decisions is very, very hard. It was very hard for me. So whatever. And I would honestly say it was hard until about my daughter was born in 2007. So it was honestly hard until 2013 when my now fiance came into my life. Like honestly, he came into my life and like he carried us on his back. Like literally. And he did not like I would think that if you are a guy or whatever coming into a relationship with a female who has a kid, if you're gonna be with her, you would help her. But the things that he did, like, was just so crazy. Like my daughter's father didn't do, his family didn't do. I don't know. It was just like wow. Like maybe he really likes me. I don't know, but he like really carried it, and that's why we are where we are now. But anyway, okay, so now literally my daughter up until about 2019, like she was like here, like I had her right here all the time underneath the wing all the time. Like she was always with me. Whenever I wasn't working, I was with my daughter. And then like up until like 2019, sis started getting her period and boom, like a whole new Kira. My daughter's name is Kira. A whole new Kira emerged. She went from like being my sweet, sweet baby to like this fucking monster that I want to beat the hell out of every day. Luckily, we're in a good place now. We're in a better place now. But it was really, sometimes I really wanted to beat the hell out of her. But yeah, so I blame her menstrual cycle. I blame the pandemic. There's a lot of factors that play into why this girl was just going buck fucking wild. And I had to reel it on back in, but sis was going the fuck crazy. But, it wasn't until now, 2022, where I decided, okay, you have this house, you have these kids, you have this man. Like, you want your family to be different. You want your life to be different. You don't want it to end up where you've seen so many families end up. So, what are you going to do? What are you going to do to fix it? So, my first step was to get Kira into therapy because therapy, sometimes gives kids, well, not sometimes, it gives kids an outlet, gives them somebody to talk to outside of their parents because sometimes it's hard. It's hard to talk to your parents. It's hard to say, you know, you yelling at me all the time, or I don't think how you treat me is fair, or whatever the case may be. It's hard for kids to express these things to their parents. So it may be easier for them to express it to somebody who's biased, who doesn't really know them. And, you know, that was that. Put her in therapy. I myself had to get into therapy because I realized that I have a lot of past traumas, and my past traumas come from my parents, not being there, for me having to grow up into the foster care system, and then, my aunt stepping in and adopting me and my sister. It was just like, it's a lot. And it's things that I never really talked about, things that I never really dealt with. I experienced a lot. I have my story. One day maybe I can write about it. I don't know, but my story is it's fucking crazy. It's really crazy. And it's just like so many things happen that I never really dealt with, that I never really talked about. So me getting into therapy too was also important. And then for us now, we're in a place where we want to, go into a family therapy kind of situation where all three of us can get on and talk and be open and be honest. We're not in a bad place, but it could be better. We are definitely working from where we were, and it has gotten a lot better, but we still have a lot of work to do. And it's very important for me. Like, I'm not one of those people who's gonna sit and lie and pretend as if everything is all good when it's definitely not. And the therapy has been working, and we'll see where it leads us. But it's been rough. It's been rough, but I'm glad we're finally moving from out of that dark space. Um, just gonna take it one day at a time, and going to move forward. Hopefully, maybe in my next video, or a video down the line, maybe I'll have my daughter get on and talk too, and say her experience, how she has experienced me as a mom, and what I could have possibly done better. You know, maybe we'll do that. That would be interesting, because sometimes we as parents, we're not always right, and we a lot of us come from a place where it's a do as I say with no questions, and I'm learning to move from that. You are allowed to question. You are allowed to talk to me. You're allowed to experience me in a different way. But what I try to get through to my daughter is, while you're allowed to question, it has to be done in a respectful manner. If I say something, or if I did something to you that you don't think is fair, that you don't like, or whatever the case may be, you are allowed to tell me, Mom, I really didn't like when you did X, Y, and Z, or when you said X, Y, and Z, it made me feel this way. Like, I want us to have those open and honest conversations, because it's important. We as parents are not always right, and we have to, move to a place where we can talk to our kids respectfully, and not always be so quick to hit, and always be so quick to be upset and not understand, because they are people and they have feelings. And, I think that a lot of times we don't acknowledge it. It's like, I'm the adult, you're the kid, period. And it shouldn't be that way. I feel as though once I adopted that behavior, or that attitude, that mindset, it has made a difference in the communication between me and my daughter. Like I said, it's still a work in progress. We are still actively working to getting to a better space, but it has been a lot better. It really has been. And I can only hope that with time it will continue to get better. So if you found this video interesting, or if you can relate in any kind of way, or if you have any ideas for me, drop it down in the comment box. Share this video with your other friends, and let's get the conversation going. So I'll see you guys in the next one.